Hello and welcome to USC for the next round of the Competition Clutch front-wheel drive drag racing series. Now the biggest news this weekend is that Richard Batty, the current championship leader, well, he has issues with his racing FTO, so he's using a standard street FTO, which means the field are really up for some huge points. The competition is going to be vast. Amy Bradley behind us putting in some fast times, but the favourite has got to be Sam Bolton. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see what happens. So it's first thing Saturday morning and it's time to get ready for the first of the day's qualifying sessions. Well, Richard Batty, you're the European record holder. You've gone faster in your FTO than we've seen ever before. Unbelievable stuff. And yet you're in a car right now that's covered over and that you're a bit unfamiliar with.
Yeah, I had a few problems at the last round, so I've had to borrow a friend's FTO, so it's a standard road car, so just get some points for the series.
Yeah, you say you're hinting at a few problems with the other car. What's that going to do for the rest of the season for you?
Well, unfortunately we made the decision on Friday that we were going to miss the rest of the season. We're going to do some major development work on the car and get it ready to come out next season even faster.
Now, without delving into too much about what actually happened to the car, is this because you've been on the edge so much with going so fast? Is that what's put the pressure on the ar?
Well, everyone's pushing these cars to the limits. I mean, we've got a 2.4 litre engine and we're pushing over 1,000 brake horse out of it. They're not designed for this. Everybody's on the limit of what we can screw out of them, to be fair.
Absolutely. With only a few more rounds left, though, you've accumulated quite a lot of points, so you must be looking at that championship table. I know Sam's very close to you in the championships, especially if you can't run the amazingly fast times out there. But if Sam does well today, we're going to see you out, aren't we, in the car that's underneath these covers?
Yeah, I think it's Sam's to lose now at the minute as he walks past.
He loves being under pressure.
yeah, it's his to lose. So if he can win a couple of rounds, then he'll leapfrog me in the table and it'll be his. If he doesn't win the next couple of rounds, then I'm still in with a chance.
So into qualifying session number 1, and it is indeed Richard Batty in his replacement car up against Sam Bolton in that black Tigra. Now, it's not about reaction times in qualifying, it's all about time from start to finish, and off Sam goes, building that boost, off he goes, and he's hunting Richard down. Richard just cruising down the strip it seems, but rev limiter there for Sam as he goes back on the power again, coming up to the line. This is looking very good from Sam, isn't he? 10.1, and wow, 5 seconds behind nearly was Richard Batty. So we have James Lord in the right-hand lane, up against Amy Bradley in that purple Civic. We know Amy's very consistent there, getting into the very low 11s and the high 10s too. James there, not looking like he's got the same sort of pace as Amy. Amy looking very good as she goes over the line, then crossing in 11.06 against James Lord in a 12.74. Dan Frost then, the last of the front-wheel drive cars to go out right now, and cutting the beam very nicely, going up through the gears. Looking very good from Dan as well, and he crosses the line 10.72. Now Sam, we just saw you go out there for your first qualifying pass of the day, but you've had some massive gearbox issues.
Yeah, we did last round, we broke 2 boxes, so we're here again to see what's going on really.
What's going on with you and gearboxes? It seems to be linked, doesn't it?
Yeah, but we're only running a standard gearbox, so it's a weak point and we're at that point with it now.
Now gearboxes, components for cars are really important, so what are you looking for as a replacement?
We've got something in the making, but at the minute we haven't got it in, so we're on 2 standard gearboxes this weekend. I brought a spare, and we're just going to see what happens. Which means the pressure on you, especially because we've seen already that Richard Batty has got issues with his car. He's now running his spare car, so you've got to be the firm favourite for this weekend. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll do what the car will do, and then we'll just see it through. Well, I'm here with Amy Bradley. We spoke to Amy last time out and she was saying the most she can ever get out of this car without putting her hand into a very deep pocket is a mid-10. Now, Amy, we saw you just run a very low 11. So, are you happy with that sort of time?
We just put a new gearbox in it. So it's just a practice one really. I did think it would have gone a little bit better than what it did. I'm happy with 11.0, but my next run I'm going to try a lot harder and hopefully get a new PB.
And with Sam, he's got a few issues with his car, new gearbox as well, so it looks like, you know, if all things go to plan for you, you could be in for some good points.
Yeah, if everything goes to plan with me and I do some really good PBs, then Sam is probably my main competition. Sam is really good when his car's working to its full potential. So he's probably the main competition at the minute, although Dan's just beat my personal best, but that won't be lasting for very long.
Well, James, we can see you've got the bonnet up and you've been looking at the car a fair bit and you're not happy with that first qualifying pass. What's the problem?
Just having a problem with the gear linkages, trying to select the gears, but I'm in the process now, just trying to set them up again.
When is there trouble with the clutch, or is it just straight to the linkages itself?
No, the clutch is fine. It's just a matter of adjusting the linkages just so they're right, but at the minute I'm struggling to get second.
So into qualifying session number 2, and as we thought, neither Richard Batty or Sam Bolton really need to come out for this one. So it's Amy Bradley in the left-hand lane against James Lord in the right-hand lane. Are both going to be able to improve upon their first qualifying times, as we see Amy crossing the line at 10.87. She's improved, and James at 12 flat. He has improved as well. And Dan Frost all on his lonesome again. He is really looking to build upon that very fast 10.72 from the first qualifying time, and this is looking very impressive as well. At 10.64, that puts him in second spot. But what about Andy Nichols? Well, we caught up with a rather perplexed Andy in the pits.
We're struggling to get the car on 4 cylinders at the minute. It's got a misfire and it's running out of fuel for some reason. Just going through all the fuel system and see if I can find what's happening with it.
Is there the chance to maybe just drive down track, try and register any kind of qualifying time?
I can't even get out of the pits with the car at the minute. It just won't go over 2 cylinders, so I just need to get down to the scrutineering bay and be a start at the minute.
So for you, that's got to be a huge frustration.
Yeah, we've had some problems with it, which I thought I'd ironed out, but I just couldn't get it on boost. Can't really test it on the road, it's just can't hold it. I went to a private aerodrome, managed to do a bit of testing until it started spinning the tyres quite badly, and thought that'll do us. Brought it here and it's whatever the problem has, it's come back worse now. So.
Well, Dan Frost has got the heaviest pretty much of all cars. You've got your own stereo in the car as well. What's that about? It should be a weight loss situation.
Yeah, it's just because every now and then I used to use it on the road, so eventually it will come out, but not at the minute. I've got electric windows as well, which obviously I need to chop out, get perspex. There's a lot of weight I can get rid of.
Absolutely, and you're already running some very quick times with all the weight that's in the car. So when you take that weight out, what do you think you could achieve in this car?
Low 10s, hopefully.
Well, not long after that, and the heavens opened, so no more racing on the Saturday. But Sunday dawned bright and clear, ready for the final qualifying session, and a last chance for Andy Nichols to get into the field. And here is Andy Nichols facing off against James Lord. What's he going to be able to do in that Civic? Well, it's not looking that impressive, it has to be said. He's not very quick as he goes up to the line. Maybe he's just trying to put a time in to get those valuable points. Well, James coming to being there in 11.29. Andy well back, a 15.46, but at least he's in the field now. About Amy Bradley, well, she is looking to build upon that second qualifying time, that very good second qualifying time, it has to be said, and she goes up to the line. 11.53, that is no improvement, in fact that is well off. Well, here's a new car to look out for. This is another Tigra, and it's going to hope to be coming out in the class before too long, particularly ready for next year. Driven, we think, by Steve Poe, and it looks like it's very impressive. This is going to be giving number 1 qualifier Sam Bolton a huge run for his run before too long, crossing the line in 9.89.
It's been okay. It seemed alright on the first pass. We had no breakages, so we've just left it now and we've waited for the first eliminator. We're not going to go for the personal best. We'll go for the win if we can. We're just going to go and see if we can survive.
So into round 1 eliminations, and with 6 cars in the field, that is 3 pairs. Starting off with Richard Batty against Sam Bolton, and the winner of this race gets a bye run into the finals. Now, is Sam going to take it easy? Absolutely not. They're absolutely tearing off on the line. Richard much slower, as of course we expect him to be, but Sam isn't taking it easy, crossing the line in a 10.05, so close to that 9. Wow, great stuff. Definitely not taking it easy. Richard Batty there in a 16.31. Andy Nichols in the right-hand lane, still having a few problems, we think, though, up against James Lord. Can Andy do anything? Can he improve upon his qualifying time? It looks like it's not great news for Andy, and Dan crosses the line there at a 10.69, beating Andy, who seems to be suffering from a misfire up at the top. Amy Bradley then up against James Lord. Now, if Amy gets through, she'll be up against Dan Frost. She's looking good right now. She's going up. She is only ahead, but it's very, very tight. Crossing the line, here she is, and a 10.72 against an 11.28. That's a personal best for Amy Bradley.
Oh, Amy, congratulations on your personal best then. Did it feel like a quick run?
Yeah, it did, yeah, except for just as letting off at the top end of the track, it was smoking really bad, so just going to let it cool down and see what it's like when we start up again.
Yeah, so do you know if it's anything terminal or hopefully going to be out for the next round?
I'm not sure, we're just going to let it cool down, start it up, and then we'll just have another look and see if I'm going to be out or not.
So while we waited for these semi-finals, we caught up with the owner of that new 9-second Tigra.
Okay, so we're here in the pits with front-wheel drive racer Steve Powell, hopefully looking to join the class soon. Steve, you had a good weekend?
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah. I've ran PBs nearly on every run. We've gone into the 9s for the first time, so you know I can't not be happy. It's been really good.
The car's been awesome on the track this weekend. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's a Ford C20 LET, Precision 67mm turbo, running on E85 fuel, Sunoco E85. Yeah, it's got a dog box in it now as well, so which helps a lot. So yeah, I'm happy. First time out with the new spec, so to do what I've done, I'm made up. Really.
So into the semi-finals, and no sign of Amy Bradley. That means that Dan Frost, well, he's going to get a very, very easy trip down the track and into the final. That is a real shame, because it would have been a really, really close and exciting pairing down there. All he has to do is cut the beam. He doesn't even have to drive down the end, really, but there you go, taking it very, very easy. One of the longest times we'll ever see Dan drive down the drag strip in. It's just like he's going to the local shops, but there you go. So Dan through to the final. Next out then, we have Sam Bolton, and he seems to be having a bit of trouble with his burning out. Not sure what's going on there. He only needs to break the beam as well, so here he goes. He's up and running. Not taking it easy at all, a 10.18, so very, very consistent. And another test pass then for Andy Nichols, hoping, of course, to get the car sorted and ready for the next round in only 2 weeks' time. And this is looking much, much better, much more like it from Andy. Up to the line then. A flat 11 seconds, nice work. So as the finalists get ready, time for a quick look around USC, always one of the biggest show and go modified events of the year. And this year saw some great race cars all the way from Portugal, including some very quick diesels.
The car's been pretty much spot on, even though you've got the stock gearbox back in there. You happy how it's gone this weekend?
Yeah, it's been really well. The car's performed as it should. Gearbox is getting a little bit knocky, but it's still there. So, and we're just enjoying it now. We're just going to give it all.
And you had a couple of issues then trying to burn out. Was it anything to do with the car or was it the track?
We just dropped the tyre pressures a little bit. There weren't enough water in the box, and so yeah, we had some issues. But it's still grip when we got it up. So we'll try the same again and get a bigger burnout.
And you got about 5-6 temps on Dan going into the final, so maybe you're going to be giving it all def or going to let off a little bit?
No, we'll give it def. Obviously Dan's got some problems with some tyres, so yeah, we'll just go for it and we'll see what happens.
So Dan, 1 round left into the final. We've had a couple of issues though. What's happened to the car?
Got a slight misfire and we're having a slight issue with my slicks. I'm actually running on road tyres at the minute. Unfortunately, they've started to shred themselves to pieces. I don't know if they're delayering slowly. I don't know what's happened with them. But hopefully we get that sorted out, ready for the next round. Other than that, in the final I'm just going to have to go nice and slow and just get the points.
So Dan Frost then on street tyres, so it should be Sam's race, if he doesn't make a mistake, that is. We know that Sam does like to get through a few gearboxes, so let's see what happens with the turbos and the launch. He can't really drive his cars very gently, and I'm sure he's going to really go for it. He really is. He's putting a great time down, Sam. He knows this one's in the bag, really. He can see already he's got the victory, crossing the line then in another 10.1. Great work from Sam, a victory for him.
It's not so much a surprise. We wasn't expecting it. Gearbox held out and we just led through. Obviously, we had a lot of cars that broke, but we still ran consistent, so we're happy.
Really consistent all day, and we're pretty sure that if this doesn't put you top of the championship, you're definitely in contention to take the lead in the next event. How does that feel with only 2 events left?
It's a surprise. We thought we'd be fighting for second place, not first, so we'll see what happens over the next 2 events.
So it's just 2 weeks until the next round at the Monster Truck Nationals. We'll see you there.